It is now 6 p.m. Whoa. Okay. It is now okay. All right. It is now 6 p.m. on 10 November 2025, and I call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. May I please have a roll call?
David Dahl. Margo Mooring.
Here.
Nicholas Andrews.
Here.
Debbie Cole. Justin Henderson.
Here.
Dean Haddock.
Here.
Matthew Filer.
Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes dated 13 October 2025 and 27 October 2025 noted by any member? If not, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion to approve the minutes from 13 October 2027 and 27 October 2027 is approved. Is there any correspondence for any item on the agenda?
No correspondence for tonight.
Do we have any old business?
We have no old business.
All right, we'll move to the new business. For the public, the Planning Commission meetings are generally quasi-judicial in nature. All decisions of the Commission will be based on competent, substantial evidence, including testimony provided in this meeting. Any person who is not an applicant or agent that wishes to speak will need to fill out a speaker card located on the side table by the door and turn them into the city clerk. Each member of the public will be given 3 minutes to speak on each item. Please refrain from speaking from the audience, and applause or cheering will not be allowed. And please silence your cell phones. Can you please read the application by title?
I sure can. To the staff, can we please have the report for PC number 20-25?
Through the chair, this is application PC 2025. That is a conditional use application. The request is for a beauty school, also known as educational services, in the C1 zoning district, pursuant to section 34-617 D11. The property is located at 301 North 10th Avenue, Unit B. There we go. The subject property is a tenant space within an existing commercial center located in the Commercial Limited C1 zoning district. The tenant space is currently operated by the applicant as a full salon. The applicant is requesting to convert her use from a salon to a beauty school and take on students. The site is a completely developed site with existing parking, landscaping, and structures. As the proposed renovations would take place inside the structure, there will be the only potential external changes could be signage if they change the name. As required by the LDC and with as required by the previous LDC and with similar requirements under the current LDC, shopping centers are required to have on-site parking based on the overall size of the structure, square feet, and assigned specific ratios that are intended to account for the nature of the multi-tenant space. While turnover in businesses would otherwise require constant flux in parking requirements and design, which is impractical, both the previous code and the new code take this into account by having an average standard amount of parking per square foot that is higher than some standalone commercial uses and lower than others, to make an average to accommodate the mix of constantly changing uses. Based on this, the site is expected to accommodate any permitted or conditional use without the need for any additional parking. Professional school may have more students or users than a salon would have employees. However, each salon professional would also have an attending client. So the total number of expected occupancy would be double that for salon professionals, which is why we have a parking standard generally of 2 spaces per chair in a salon, as well as some for the typical waiting area. The total occupancy for the building will be determined by the fire marshal through the fire code, but will be practically limited by the number of students that the owner can reasonably accommodate to teach at one time. In summary, the staff does not anticipate any increase in demand for parking on site, nor any specific parking analysis required for a change of use in shopping centers. under the section 34553, which are the applicable standards for the conditional uses. Generally, staff finds that it's consistent with the visions, intents, and strategies of the comprehensive plan, specifically intent of future land use element 1.3, which is the city shall encourage and promote infill development and redevelopment, and strategy 1.3.1, the city shall promote redevelopment of underutilized and deteriorated properties. Conditional uses are compatible with existing and permissible uses in the immediate vicinity. The proposed use of a beauty school is compatible with the surrounding uses, both internally to the shopping center and externally in the uses surrounding the property as a whole. The surrounding tenant spaces are a mix of retail sales, retail food establishments, medical offices, physical fitness studios, and others related commercial uses. External to the site, surrounding uses are as follows. To the south, a similar commercial center with multi-tenant spaces, as well as 2 standalone out parcels. To the north, a commercial retail center, 2 multifamily structures, and a new classroom building associated with the Episcopal School. And then to the west is the main campus of the Episcopal School. And then across third is a retail furniture establishment. The proposed use will have little impact on the visual landscape of the area, as it will maintain the existing tenant space occupied by the current salon. The only exterior change, again, may be the change of a sign. The proposed use will not have any negative or adverse impacts on these permitted uses within the zoning district. The property is located in a commercial limited C1 zoning district, and educational services, especially those on such a small scale as this, should not have any external impact on the surrounding properties, also located within the C1 zoning district. The proposed conditional use will not have a demonstrated adverse effect on adjacent property values. Likely, as the proposed use is substantially similar to adjacent uses of the adjacent use of the Episcopal schools and educational services, it is not anticipated that it will have any impact on the surrounding property values, but this cannot be definitively determined by staff. There are adequate public facilities, as mentioned. It's an existing commercial center, so it has all of its utilities as well as parking and other city required or demanded services. Obviously, there is existing parking, and the traffic flow is currently established with proper ingress and egress. It is consistent with the requirements of the LDC, as the tenant build out of an existing space should not have any additional impacts once the use is changed. There's no requirements for any additional open spaces. It's an existing developed site, and there are no additional standards for this particular type of conditional use, so they are not required to meet anything specific. So, based on the information included and outlined in the staff memo, the staff finds that this meets the criteria of 34553, and therefore we recommend approval of PC 2025 for a beauty school located in C1.
Thank you. Does any commission member have any ex parte communication to disclose? Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in and give any presentation?
You're just going to tap on the little red light on your microphone. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony... please provide your name and address.
Lisa Phelps, 14750 Beach Boulevard, number 6, Jack's Beach, 32250.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please, anything you'd like to add?
Oh, okay. I opened my salon there in 2020. I originally opened it in 2018 in South Jack's Beach, and it was just an 8-station salon, hair salon. Then COVID hit, and everybody left and went to Salon Suites. So I had to do something really overnight with my business. So I called my landlord, and I said, I need to move, or I need to put up, walls and doors to create, the proper space for stylists to work in. And he said I had a space already built out. So he told me about the space. I went and viewed it, and I walked through, and it was perfect for having salon suites. And I've been there for 5 years, and I've loved it. I just feel like at my age now, I'm ready to take my industry. I've been doing this for 26 years and I love it. I love the industry. And I just feel like it's time for me to take what I've learned in 26 years and just help people in the industry that want to further their education. So that was the reason for wanting to open the school. And there's not one, locally here. There's one in like the north side, one in Town Center, one in Mandarin. I just thought it would be great for our community. I've been here my whole life. I went to Fletcher. I grew up here, so I love the beach.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Do any commission members have any questions for the applicant?
I do, ma'am. I am pretty familiar with the area, and my observation, just as someone who is, somewhat familiar with it, is that it works. The kind of parking works, the mix of uses works. Understood that the mix of uses is always going to change, and Christian made his points about what our code requires as far as the parking. So I get. Or I understand how that's working. I just wondered, as someone who is far more familiar with it than is that also your impression that this is a very interesting mix of uses in close proximity, and both this and across the street, but it all seems to be working. And, as a Jack's Beach resident, I'm always like, oh, this is cool. I can get a space like at a reasonable distance and everybody's happy. Is that your impression?
I agree. Yeah, it is actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's used because, I'll go there at certain times of the day, but not others. And okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that
Yeah.
input.
I only have one question. Do you have an anticipated number of students at any given time you think you're going to have?
Yeah, my plan is to keep it small and private. I want to max out maybe 6 cosmetology students and 4 maxed esthetician students. I don't want it to get large.
Okay, thanks. And how many stylists do you have in right
So
now?
I have a total of 6 suites, and I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beauty providers that work out of each suite, and then they have clients that come in at all times throughout the day and the evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Is that it? Okay.
I will now open the public hearing. Do we have any speaker cards?
I believe no.
All right, I don't see anybody in the audience, so I will now close the public hearing and bring that back to the board for discussion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote for the motion?
Margot Mooring,
Yes.
Justin Henderson,
Yes.
Dean Haddock,
Yes.
Nicholas Andrews.
Yes. Congratulations, ma'am.
Good luck.
May we have the planning department's report?
Yes, we do. So, typically over the last 4 years, the last 2 meetings of the year usually have some correlation with the holidays that fall in those 2 months. We've typically just brought it to the board and said, hey, do you guys want to have this meeting or not? I want to try and get ahead of that before we actually publish the calendar to decide, because usually the biggest issue is whether people are in town or not and we can have a quorum. I can say right now, we may have one more conditional use item for the year. I'm waiting for the applicant to turn something in. If so, it will go on the first meeting in December. But otherwise, I don't think we'll have any reason to have a second meeting in December. But generally speaking, going forward for next year, I just wanted to make you guys aware that these are the 2 meeting dates and how they kind of correlate with the holidays for those 2 months, and see if you guys want to plan on having those meetings or not, if you think there'll be conflicts, because it makes it easier for us to give the applicants an idea of, if those meetings are going to happen, when they're going to happen in advance. So there's no impetus to or not have meetings. Generally, they would be on the calendar, but if you guys think it makes sense to not have them, like council doesn't have meetings in July for the holiday reason, it would be beneficial, I think, if we had that in the calendar going forward. But it's really up to you guys. I just wanted to kind of broach it before we publish the calendar coming in January.
I'd throw it out there too, the one on the 28th, the one in between Christmas and New Year's, to probably kick that one to January, and just that's the week everybody's gone and everybody isn't here anyway, and there's probably won't be a lot of business on that one anyhow. And I also second no meetings in July.
Joking aside, I think we should probably look at summer vacation as potentially carving out a month. If everybody can agree to it, we'll set that aside for right now, though. I will tell you, I will not be here on the 28th of December 2026. That is my daughter's 18th birthday.
We already canceled that one.
But the 23rd is probably something we should consider if we can potentially push. If we don't traditionally have a ton of meetings in the November timeframe, we should potentially think about pushing that one to December too. I don't know what the logistics would be of that, but there's a fair chance I think that people will be out of town for Thanksgiving.
Generally speaking, the code has the second and fourth week as your weeks for meetings. Obviously, we have Board of Adjustment kind of in the opposite weeks, and then there's council and various other boards. So if there's a opportunity to move those meetings, we can look at that and bring some dates back for you guys. I don't know off the top of my head if that's something we can definitely say is going to be this day or not right now. But we can look at trying to find more compatible days.
I think, if that's the case, then we can move the 23rd 1 week earlier, probably a good thing, and 28th pushing into January.
Was there, not really relevant to this, but was there some chatter that I've heard or we talked about going to one meeting a month versus two? Was that a thing?
Possibly. That's one of the things we're going to discuss with council. So probably early next year, we're going to bring basically a number of, Scrivener's errors and glitches and stuff that we found in the new land development code to them for correction. We want to take a look at all the applications that we've had, all the meetings that we've had, and then see if there's a desire to basically reduce that based on the workload. And I think particularly for Board of Adjustment, the new code changes have reduced their workload substantially. For you guys, it's kind of development driven, but it's been pretty slow. So we want to broach that with them. It'll be up to council, but probably not until February or March will we have that conversation with them.
Gotcha. Would it be something, and this gets a little too down the rabbit hole, would it be something like looking at one meeting versus two meetings? Like, hey, if there's only one thing if we only have one thing, it gets kicked to the next meeting, so we have at least two things or three things to discuss versus just having one thing on the agenda, one action item?
It can be. It also depends on what the requests are and what the applicant's timelines are. We try and give them some, reasonable idea that if they submit an application, they'll be heard at a certain time.
Right. Okay.
About the glitches and the Scrivener's errors and whatnot, I believe there was a conversation when we were passing the LDC originally that we'd be reviewing it like once a year or something like that. Is that correct? Is that part of that review?
We're definitely going to look at it on a regular basis. I don't know if we specifically stated once a year or once every couple of years, but in this case, we know we're going to have to because I've got 4 pages of missed definitions or things that don't line up and stuff like that. I'm not sure how that process is going to go, so I could definitely discuss it with the director and kind of come back and figure out. It's been sort of a figuring out how the code works and then going from there. So I think we've got that part down, and now we're just trying to correct the things that we know about. But the goal is to have it be a flexible, moving document that can keep up with the times.
Yeah, let me ask a different question related. There are a couple items that came up in the last few months. I don't want to go into detail right now. There's nobody even in the audience, but if a commissioner wanted to propose a new section or an amendment to part of the LDC, would the process be to draft an example of that to bring it to you, Christian, and then it gets circulated to the board? How would that typically work?
So generally speaking, the board is the agency that can decide whether or not they want to propose a change to council. If you had, say, something that you were interested in disseminating to the board, you could give us examples and we could send that information out. The ultimate decision would be a vote of the board to say, "Hey, council, we think this should be something you guys look at." But yeah, I mean, if you have information you want to share for something like that, it's not legislative in nature. It's not quasi judicial. It's really just a discussion. You guys at best would be making a recommendation to council. So as long as it comes through me for dissemination, so one, we have a copy, and two, it's not direct communication between you guys. Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Awesome.
if you want to spend the time to draft something, I can't promise that's what we're going to use, but you know.
No, just I mean, none of this is very complicated, but there were a couple of items that I just wanted. I thought could use a little bit of clarity in the LDC that wouldn't be monumental changes. I don't think maybe they would be, but if I could send those to you and you could circulate them to the board, and then we could have a discussion about them, and then if we wanted to, if somebody passed a motion and we wanted to send a recommendation to the council, that's what I would basically be proposing.
Yeah, I would imagine, and again, I'll have to discuss with the director because we've never gone through the process before, but any recommended changes that we have coming forward, we would probably put on an agenda for you guys to look at and consider.
Yep.
So that may be a good time to have all that stuff kind of come together. I don't know, again, when that's going to happen exactly, but in the meantime, anything that you want to send or bring to me, we can start collecting and figure out, if that's something you guys want to address as a single topic or as part of a larger discussion.
Cool. Perfect. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything further?
We simply do not have a meeting at the end of this month because we don't have any action items. So, like I said, looks like the first meeting in December will probably have a case. I'm just waiting for that application to get submitted.
Okay, thanks. If
Motion
there is,
to adjourn.
we are adjourned.